Hey there everybody, Skosh here with a video that I was not expecting to upload today. I've already uploaded just recently the What Happened in for Street Fighter 1, so if you haven't checked that out already, please feel free to check it out. But that was kind of it for today until I recently saw the trailer for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, which if you don't know is the remaster of the PS3 fighting game based on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And we've been getting like daily trailers or almost daily trailers for a couple weeks now, and these trailers haven't been anything really big or anything. They've just been showing off the characters as they have been in the game. So if you've played All-Star Battle or at least familiar with Eyes of Heaven, you'll have at least, seen most of what have been in these trailers. And, today I kind of expected the same. We were just going to get a singular character trailer and that was it. But no, we actually got a pretty sizable trailer similar to the last one we got that showed off some of the new characters like Speedwagon and Pet Shop, etc. And today we got a trailer that focuses on parts 4, 6, and 8. And part 8 didn't really get anything, which is unfortunate, but I'll kind of get into my theories about that later. But yeah, the focus today was definitely on parts 4 and 6, so I'm kind of just going to go over that now and go over basically what we've learned from this new trailer. So the main brunt of this trailer is kind of just focusing on some of the characters that are included from parts 4, 6, and 8, or the character singular for the case of part 8. But the most important part of this trailer was, of course, the reveal of 3 new characters for the game that are being added, and 2 of them are from part 4 and the last one is from part 6. And the 2 characters that we've gotten from part 4 are Yukiko Yamagishi and part 4 Jotaro. And I'm not surprised by these characters. I'm a little surprised by part 4 Jotaro, because even though, in hindsight it was kind of obvious they were going to do him, because, Jotaro is one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise, one of the most important characters. We already have a Jotaro, and I honestly kind of was thinking that they were going to just maybe, include the Part 4 design as a costume for Part 3 Jotaro, but obviously they decided otherwise. I know his moveset in Part 4 Jotaro is a bit different. I know it includes more of the time stop stuff, because obviously in Part 4 onwards, spoilers for Part 3, it's Star Platinum the world, so obviously, Jotaro's moveset is a bit different, so I guess that's fine. It is a bit of a bummer, I guess, that, one of these slots, these kind of like highly coveted spots that we've been kind of waiting to see which characters are going to be, filling them up, is being used on a character that technically is already in the game. But it's whatever, you kind of have to just accept these things. It's not as bad as, say, Dragon Ball FighterZ, where we've got like 20 Gokus and 20 Vegetas. So yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, it's not the end of the world for me. I do like Jotaro, I do like Part 4 Jotaro, so yeah, it's whatever. For Yukiko, I was actually really hoping she'd be in the game. Not my favourite character, not my favourite Part 4 character, but I do like her. I do think she's interesting, definitely deserved some more screen time maybe. Maybe a bit more of an important role in Part 4, but that's kind of neither here nor there. But yeah, I am glad she's in the game. I do think this roster could have used some more female characters, and Yukiko was definitely one of them. So yeah, that's cool. I am glad she's in the game. I don't know if I'll like use her that much, or if at all, or like whatever. But yeah, it's a character that I'm glad is in the game, even if I'm not personally really gonna put that much time into her. And then the most important reveal, or the biggest reveal, is by far the last one for Part 6, and that is Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters from Part 6 is now confirmed to be coming to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. And the biggest thing about Foo Fighters making it into this game is that she was neither in All-Star Battle or Eyes of Heaven. She is an entirely new character created solely for this game, and you can kind of tell, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I could tell in the trailer that she looks new, if that makes sense. You can tell that she was not made back on the PS3 version, or even the PS4 Eyes of Heaven version. Something about it, this is something about it to me that just really stands out as her looking different, looking new. I know there's another character that we know that has pretty much been leaked that we know is also, that wasn't in Eyes of Heaven or All-Star Battle, but I know that character had a model in one of those games. It was a very low quality backstage model, or background model, so at least he had a model, and I know they'll probably base that model off that character. But yeah, I don't think Foo Fighters ever had anything like that in either game. This is an entirely new model created from scratch, and again, I don't mean it in a bad way, but you can kind of tell that. But yeah, very, very exciting. Absolutely deserved, 100%. Foo Fighters is such a fun character. Obviously, Part 6 is one of the ones that I've held off on because I was waiting for the anime, but obviously the anime has this really weird and not great release schedule at the moment, so I will probably end up reading Part 6 at some point. Whether it's before the next batch of episodes, I don't know. I'm currently reading Berserk at the moment for the first time, which I'm enjoying. And I think once I get to the end of that and kind of catch up on Berserk, then I'll probably go and read Part 6 online somewhere. But yeah, from what I've seen of Foo Fighters, in the anime, very very fun character, absolutely deserved. I know a lot of people wanted Foo Fighters, myself included. I think I've even mentioned her in several videos about Lara as a character that I definitely wanted to see. So this is great news. The only downside is that doesn't seem like Weather Report is going to be in the base roster, but honestly, I'm kind of fine with that if it means Foo Fighters gets in. I'm sure like both will get in eventually. Like I know Weather Report will probably be DLC or something, but I'll kind of get into that in a minute. But yeah, that's kind of it really in terms of the reveals for this trailer. Like in terms of the part 4 reveals, nothing crazy, but still interesting and still cool to see. But yeah, the Foo Fighters reveal, definitely the biggest thing. Probably the biggest character I think they revealed for this game so far. Definitely the most surprising. I know a lot of people wanted it, but I honestly kind of felt like they were going to save her for DLC. But it is very good to see. And obviously we get the new stage based off the location where Jolene and Hermes fight Foo Fighters for the first time outside the prison. So that's cool. It's a very interesting stage. I'm glad they're adding more Part 6 stages, or just more stages in general. It does give me hope that we'll maybe see some more stages, some new ones added from different parts that, didn't really get as many represented. But yeah, it's a pretty cool trailer, pretty cool reveals, and I'm pretty happy. But now at the moment, the question is kind of like, who's left and who's DLC? And that's what I'm going to get into now. So now we're kind of looking at what characters are actually left to show off and announce for this game, both in terms of the base roster and for the DLC. And you see for a brief moment when they show the full character roster image, and it's still got some of the empty spaces, but then the 3 light up to show that they're about to announce Yukiko, Jotaro, and Foo Fighters. You can see before it kind of moves on to those characters that there's 3 more spaces that are left empty in that full character roster image. And we've known for a while now that 2 of those characters are Trish and Prosciutto, and this makes sense because the way these trailers have gone, these last couple of trailers where they've kind of done a batch of reveals of characters, they've done them in themes of kind of like grouping different parts together. So the first trailer was part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 7, and that made sense because the characters that got revealed in that trailer were characters from part 1, part 3, and part 7. Obviously part 2 didn't get any, which I thought was weird at the time, but I kind of was thinking, like maybe this means that we're not actually going to get any new part 2 characters or part 2 characters from Eyes of Heaven added, to the base roster. Now I think that is definitely the case. There's no real way of knowing, obviously, but I think if they were going to show off those characters, like say if like Stroheim was going to be in this base roster, I feel like he probably would have been in that previous trailer, and I feel like the same is the case with characters that weren't in this trailer that's just come out today. So the only part that hasn't been featured in one of these trailers yet is part 5, and we know that's true. We know that's the case because we know that Trish and Prosciutto are going to be coming to this game. We know that they're in this game. They've been leaked for months now, and I'm not going to go over again how we know they've been leaked. I've done like 2 videos on JoJo's now, probably more than that, I can't remember. But I've mentioned it multiple times already, so if you don't know or you forgot, just check those videos out or look online or whatever. I'm not going to go over it again. But we know that those characters are coming. Trish was an obvious one. I would have been floored if Trish wasn't in this game. Even if it, was DLC, it would have surprised me. I feel like she was always kind of destined to be in the base roster. So that's not a surprise. Prosciutto, I've said before, very, very shocking. Probably one of the last characters I would have thought would have made it from part 5. I love Prosciutto a lot. Probably my favourite kind of like side character or kind of like villain of the week type character from part 5. So I'm pleasantly surprised by that. I know a lot of people wanted Risotto Nero. Completely agree. Would love him to be DLC or in the game at some point eventually. But I'm more than fine with Prosciutto. So yeah, so those are 2 characters we know of. And then that leaves the third. And at the moment, I'm honestly kind of wondering who the third could be. And I kind of, at the moment, I'm just leaning towards Bao. Oh, wow, I completely forgot to mention. Yeah, they showed off Bao at the end of this trailer. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so they finally confirmed Bao's in the game. And we've kind of known about this for a while now, because I remember months ago, in one of the trailer versions at the end of, I think on the PlayStation Store, they had a version of the character roster image, and it had Bao in there. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. So we've known that Bao was probably going to be in the game, and he even got his own character trailer like a couple weeks ago. So this isn't a surprise. I think this was their way of kind of showing on like official kind of like PlayStation or Xbox like YouTube channels or social media, like, hey, Bao is, he's definitely in the game. For those that don't follow the JoJo Twitter account, which I highly recommend you do because the admin for that Twitter account is great. I really enjoyed seeing how they interact with the community. So yeah, part of me is just willing to play it safe and just say it's Bao. But at the same time, he's technically already been revealed. But then again, he didn't get added to the big, character roster image, and he wasn't already in there, I don't think, when the three kind of spaces lit up. And then again, it was only three that lit up. It wasn't four. So I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to think. Part of me wants it to be. I definitely want it to be a Part 8 character. That's hopefully not Joshu, because Part 8 definitely needs one. Like, it's very weird that Part 8 doesn't have, a new character. It feels obvious because, it's literally just Josuke. So it's very weird to me that Part 8 doesn't have anybody at the moment confirmed to be coming into the game. Like, even if it is Joshu, who I hate and would love nothing more if he never showed his face in this game, at least it would be, Josuke and somebody else. But I'll kind of get into my theories about that in a minute when I talk about the DLC. But I don't know if, I feel like if it was a Part 8 character, we would have got them shown off in that trailer, because that was the Part 8 reveal. And I don't know, there's always the chance it is three final characters that are all from Part 5, and the final trailer is just solely Part 5, which I don't know how I would feel about that. I do like Part 5 a lot. Not my favourite part, but definitely upper tier for me, like top 2 or 3. But I don't know if it's like three characters, worthy, if that makes sense. And like the other games so far have only had like max 2 kind of characters announced or added to the game, and I feel like 3 would maybe be a bit much. But it's kind of hard to say at the moment. I don't really know. This is kind of the one thing where it's like I'm kind of like not flawed, but I'm kind of like scratching my head at the minute. I really do not know where this is going to go. I'm still leaning safe and just going to say it's probably Bao. Like, Bao's probably the third slot, and the next time they show off the game, or with this trailer like this, they're just going to show 2 spaces, and it's just going to be Trish and Bushido. But, you never know. I feel like it is still possible that they could do something like a surprise, like, a new character like Toru, or Jobin, or somebody from Part 8, or like Yasuhu, or something like that, like a character from Part 8 that's like a big shocking final reveal that like nobody was expecting. But again, I feel like, why wouldn't they just save that for, do a Part 5 and Part 8 kind of focus trailer instead of just throwing Josuke Part 8, in this trailer, just have him and then have nothing else? It's weird. But yeah, now we kind of get into like where the DLC is going to go, and I think at this point the only character I'm like convinced is going to be DLC is probably Weather Report. He's a very popular character, even more so since Part 6 started the anime, and he was a character I was very sure was going to make it into the game, the base roster, but clearly it was down to Weather Report or Foo Fighters, and like I said earlier, I'm glad Foo Fighters got in. Can't really complain about Weather Report, and like I said, I'm sure Weather Report is going to be in this game at some point. I'm fairly confident he's going to be DLC. I think given the time when this game comes out, I think early September, I'm sure Part 6 anime will be starting up not long or before that. So yeah, I feel like Weather Report could even, be the first DLC character. You never really know. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting spot we're in at the moment. I'm also fairly sure like a lot of the DLC for this game is probably going to be like new characters, maybe Part 8 kind of focused. There is also quite a few characters left from Eyes of Heaven that we still haven't got yet. Obviously Weather Report, Stroheim, a couple of others I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, it's a very interesting spot at the moment where there's not really any idea, like there's no real hard clues on what's coming up except for Trish and Prosciutto. And if we didn't know Prosciutto was in the game, we'd have no idea. That would be a huge shock. I think at this point I'd probably just be expecting Trish and nobody else really. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting spot to be in, like I've said about 800 times now, I know. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm just repeating myself at this point. But yeah, I am very still interested in this game. I'm still going to keep covering any new news that comes out for it, especially DLC and beyond. Still very excited for it. Can't wait to try it out. I'm very happy with Foo Fighters. She looks great. The new stage looks great. Great choice. I'm glad they decided to kind of go the extra mile, because they really could have just done the basic port. Like, they could have just done this so basic. They could have just upped the graphics and just done nothing and just put it out, and they could have, they would have made money off people. But the fact that they're putting in so much effort, the fact we're like getting reworked Eyes of Heaven characters, because that's like yeah, they have a moveset and they have models, but like incorporating them and balancing them from a 3D game to a 2D game, and like but still keeping those assets, that's honestly kind of like, obviously I'm not like any type of game developer, so I wouldn't know if that's hard or easy, but I would assume that would be quite a hard task. So I do commend them for that, and obviously making new characters from scratch, it can't be easy. But yeah, I'm very pleased with what they're doing. Like, I've always kind of wanted All-Star Battle to kind of get this kind of treatment. I've always thought it was unfair for that game to be kind of stuck on PlayStation 3 for so long. And Eyes of Heaven's a decent game, but I was never really into it as much as I was All-Star Battle from the bit I played of it, and even more so now that I've kind of gone back and played that game again since the reveal. So yeah, really excited to see more of it. Can't wait to actually get my hands on it. I actually didn't bother with the beta because I don't know, none of the characters they added were new. It was just Jonathan, Dio, and Jolene, I think. I can't remember if Jotaro was in there or not, but I've already played those characters in the PS3 version, so I never really felt the need to go and check it out. But definitely I think if they do another one, I probably will just check it out just to mess around with it for a bit. But at this rate, I'll probably just wait until the game comes out. Not long now anyway, September 2nd I think it comes out. So yeah, that'll be it for today. Like I said, didn't expect to make this video, but I thought it was worth making. Obviously Foo Fighters and kind of what happens now beyond that for the next reveals and DLC. Very interesting time for this game. And yeah, the game still looks good. Shame about the netcode, but it's Bandai Namco, what can you do? But yeah, I'm still very excited for the game. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.
We await your return, warrior.